Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea from a review of the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Arsenal, and they finished 0-0. Another 0-0 review, and I'm not all too happy about it. I'm really not, and I'm going to tell you why basically right now, because getting straight into the lineups, we did field a very strong team with a 3-5-2 formation. Courtois in goal, Christensen, Azpilicueta and Rudiger, the three centre-backs, Victor Moses and Marcos Alonso, the two wing-backs, and N'Golo Kante, Danny Drinkwater actually, and Cesc Fabregas, the three central midfielders, and then Hazard and Morata starting up front. But compared to that, Arsenal's lineup was Ospina in goal, Chambers, Mustafi, Holding, Bellerin, Maitland-Niles, Wilshere, Xhaka, Iwobi, Welbeck, Lacazette. In a 3-4-3, Alexis Sanchez didn't even start. He was on the bench. Mesut Ozil missed the game with a minor knee injury. And obviously, all of the players, including Koscielny, Giroud, Monreal, Kolasinac, Ramsey, all of those missed the game. So we fielded a much stronger team. First, obviously, because Arsenal had a lot of injuries, and also they didn't start Sanchez. So because of that mainly is why I'm not too happy about the result. But getting straight into the game, and it started off similarly to when we faced Arsenal at the Emirates last week. At the start of the game, both teams were eager to press, and when on the ball, both teams tried to pass their way through. But no chances were created by either side inside the first 10 minutes of the game. Both teams found it quite difficult to create anything worth mentioning, to be honest. The teams were kind of evening each other out, which I, as we had the much stronger team on the pitch, like I said, wasn't happy with. What was obvious to see though was that it wasn't the same kind of 3-5-2 that it has been in the past, as today we played with three flat central midfielders rather than one DM and two centre midfielders ahead of him, which we usually do. That meant both Cesc Fabregas and Drinkwater having to drift out wide more than they are comfortable with usually, because they played like left central midfielder and right central midfielder, if you will. But obviously that gave the wingbacks a little bit more protection. Like during the game at the Emirates, they were up against two each, obviously with Arsenal playing their 3-4-3. So it gave us some good parts, obviously defensively, if you will, but going forward I think it hindered us a little bit because Fabregas and Drinkwater were too wide, they're too pulled apart to actually create something and pass the ball through from the back forward. The first shot on target of the game came through Victor Moses in the 24th minute when he cut in from the right hand side onto his left foot, had a shot from a fairly tight angle, ended up straight at Ospina, who actually almost made it more dangerous again than it should have been, because he couldn't keep hold of the ball first time and it almost fell onto Morata's feet, but Ospina was quick to recover and jump onto the ball. Then another shot by Moses from almost the same angle just 4 minutes later in the 28th minute. This time his shot actually hit the near post, but it looked like Ospina had it covered if it had gone on target. Then the game died down a little bit again, similar to what it started like, both teams trying and, an even game, like I said, but just not really anything being created. And in the 39th minute, first real chance for Arsenal, after some very poor defending from Rudiger, to be honest, passing it straight to Iwobi just outside the box, who had then a shot on target from inside the box, but Courtois made a good save to keep it out. And then the last moment of the first half, big chance for Cesc Fabregas in the 45th minute. We played a corner back to Azpilicueta actually, just ahead of the halfway line, but he put in a great long ball into the box. Cesc made a great run and headed it on target, but didn't get enough power and direction on it. But it wasn't easy, because the pass didn't have much power on it already, and it's very difficult to direct a header when the pass is basically coming from behind you. But that was then half time at 0-0, and it was an even game, to be honest. We had 2 or 3 decent chances, Arsenal had 1, probably the biggest, to be fair. Iwobi should have done better, I thought. But like I said earlier, considering we had the much stronger team on the pitch, I wasn't all too happy with it. Unless we have to sit deep and just try to on a counter against a very good team. I'm not the very biggest fan of the 3-5-2. Hazard receives the ball, and his only option going forward is Morata, who is surrounded by multiple defenders. So Hazard either has to go on his own or pass it backwards, which is a little bit frustrating, to be honest. So at half time I was sitting there, right, let's go 3-4-3 because this really isn't working all so well. But at the same time, the Wilshere played a very good first half, and going to a 3-4-3 could be risky in the fact that he might start dominating midfield. Attacking wise though, I thought the 3-4-3 would work a lot better. Also, you would make their wingbacks keep them a lot busier, so maybe Wilshere and Xhaka wouldn't have been able to actually control midfield. But getting into the second half, and we had a very strong start into the second half, with 2 corners in quick succession. First Kante with a good shot, Christensen actually getting in the way of that. Then from the second corner, Christensen got to the end of the ball at the far post, but put his effort over the bar. Wasn't easy as he was, under pressure, but possibly could have done better. Then in the 56th, a good strike by Morata from a good 25 yards, forcing a decent save by Ospina, but definitely wasn't the save of the season. Then Wilshere actually had to come off with an injury with less than 60 minutes played, and for me that was the sign to change to a 3-4-3. But that didn't really happen. I mean, we were in complete control at the start of the second half, putting Arsenal under a lot of pressure and forcing them to sit very deep. But they defended well, to be honest, and we found it very difficult to actually find a way through and break them down. But Arsenal, on the other hand, did absolutely nothing going forward, to be honest, throughout the whole of the second half, but especially at the beginning. Then a good strike by Victor Moses in the 66th minute into the bottom left corner. But I think it was Mustafi got a great block in. Otherwise, I think that would have been in the net. Then from the following corner, Christensen again with a good chance for a header, but he put it wide. He's great at defending, yeah? Well, scoring goals really isn't his thing. Just thinking back to the header he missed against Atletico. Now he missed... This one was actually a fairly big one. He should have done a lot better there. But he also missed the one a little bit earlier, which was difficult. But still, you know, someone like Gary Cahill, someone like John Terry would probably score or at least get it on target. You know, I'm not criticising him for that. He's mainly a centre-back, so that's not his main job. But it would also be good if you get in those positions, if you could actually score from that. Thanks, mate. Then in the 68th minute, Willian came on for Drinkwater, and you think obviously now we're going to 3-4-3, but we didn't actually fully switch to 3-4-3 because when we were off the ball, Willian dropped into centre of midfield, keeping it the 3-5-2. Just when we were on the ball, the Brazilian went out wide, you know, a little bit more often, but not every time. So basically, we still stuck to the 3-5-2, just Willian being a more attacking kind of central midfielder instead of Danny Drinkwater. Then in the 69th minute, a good chance for Eden Hazard, but he did his thing of not shooting, but instead turning about 5 too many times and ending up losing the ball. He didn't get in a perfect position to shoot, but sometimes you just gotta go for it, mate. Sometimes you just gotta try. Maybe at least you get a corner from it rather than losing the ball. Or maybe it just ends up going in from a deflection or just straight from your shot, mate. Arsenal kept sitting fairly deep because we were very dominant in the second half, and that forced us into having more shots from distance. A few of those did find the target, but they were fairly easy saves for the keeper. So not really mentionable individually, to be honest. And in the 84th minute, a very strange substitution as Bakayoko came on for Eden Hazard. Like I said, very strange sub. Obviously sticking to the 3-5-2 and putting Willian next to Morata now. But still, I mean, Hazard had that calf problem around the Norwich game. But if he had to come off, not to risk him, bring Pedro on then. You know, try and go for it. We're at home in the first leg of a two-legged cup semi-final. We need a goal. You know, going to the Emirates is not easy. You know, even though we should have beat them there last week, it still isn't very easy at all. So, you know, going into that game with a goal lead, or 2 goals lead preferably, would have been, you know, a massive advantage. But, you know, he wasn't all too happy with going for that. Obviously, you can always say when it's just 6 minutes to play, take the draw. But, you know, if it's a two-legged game against a team that isn't better than you, let's just say that, you can always risk it as well. And if we ended up conceding, well, we can still get it back in the second game. So like I said, I was not too happy with that. Then in the 87th minute, Batshuayi came on for Alvaro Morata. And then the first and really only controversial moment of the game, in the 88th minute, when Fabregas was brought down in the box by, I think it was Danny Welbeck. Only a minute later, the video assisted referee was brought in to look at it again. For me personally, it looked like a clear penalty. But, well, apparently, it wasn't. People are saying it was too soft, but to me, Welbeck didn't touch the ball and clearly caught Fabregas, who was running and trying to, you know, stop to get a cross in still, and he tripped him. And tripping someone inside the box is, by definition, a penalty, isn't it? That's what I thought anyway. But seemingly the video-assisted referee, Neil Warnock it was today, I think, didn't think so. So I'm not really sure what to make of that, but obviously that was the decision and we have to live with that. And that was then full time at 0-0. And it definitely was better than the 0-0 at Norwich, but considering, again, I keep repeating myself with that, we basically fielded our strongest team when Arsenal didn't and couldn't because of injuries. So I'm really not happy with that result, I have to say that. And I don't know what it is with these makeshift Arsenal defences that somehow always seem to defend better than their actual regular defence. Same thing happened in the FA Cup final last season. Not that we were so incredibly great today and Arsenal had the best defensive performance of the season, but they were good. And we didn't manage to create enough big chances. Morata didn't miss any sitters today, which is good, but he didn't have any chances either, except that shot from distance, to be honest. He didn't have any chances. His overall play wasn't that great either today, which I wasn't all too happy with. Obviously, confidence will play on his mind. If you miss 3 big sitters like that against Arsenal, you obviously also missed 2 sitters against Stoke just before the Arsenal game, that will play on his confidence. He is a young striker and he's not used to playing every week. So confidence is very important for him, so I kind of understand it. But he wasn't very good. His general play wasn't very good today either, you know. He didn't get past anyone. His passing was off as well at times. But also he didn't get any service to actually score from either. You have to be fair to him and say that. I mean, defensively we were good. Arsenal only really had 1 chance. None of them in the second half, I don't think. No real chances anyway. And we dominated the second half. But again, comparing our teams today, we should dominate, but also win. So even though no one had an especially poor game, I couldn't pick anyone out of that. Yes, Morata wasn't great, but I wouldn't say he was poor. But no one was particularly great either. Like, really, I couldn't pick anyone that was great today. The player getting closest to being great was probably Kante. He had a decent game, but like I said, we were dominating in the second half, so obviously for the defensive midfielder, there isn't that much to do in the second half. But okay, it is a 0-0 going into the second leg at the Emirates, so still everything to play for. But Arsenal might have players returning from injury, especially Mesut Ozil, who, as we all know, is more than capable of causing you problems. So we will have to perform better at the Emirates in 2 weeks' time if we want to go through and get to the final of the Carabao Cup. Anyway, that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the game down in the comment section below. Leave me your opinion. Was that a penalty to you? Obviously, the video assistant referee said it wasn't, but like I said, I thought it was. Leave me your opinion down below. Any other thoughts you have in the game, leave it down in the comment section below as well. Leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Check out my social media, which is last1507 on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here. It'd be class if you could check that out and follow me over there. Also, don't forget to subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already. Just click the button up there if you haven't subscribed yet. We would like to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of January. Will be tough, but if you could help us, that'd be class. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and I'll see you next time.